In a brand new court filing, McMahon says Grant not only wasn't a victim, she was a willing participant and often the initiator of rough sex.
Former WWE executive, head of talent relations, and co-defendant in the sex trafficking lawsuit involving Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis has reached a confidential settlement to flip on the former CEO of WWE. John Laurinaitis was also accused of sex trafficking in the lawsuit filed by ex-employee Janel Grant. Grant alleges that both Laurinaitis and McMahon subjected her to years of sexual abuse and coercion, with WWE superstar Brock Lesnar also named in the lawsuit earlier this year. And yet, in a joint statement issued by both his and Grant's representatives on Wednesday, it was revealed that John Laurinaitis, who was fired by the WWE in 2022, has hit a heel turn on Vince McMahon, agreeing to flip on him. Quote, John Laurinaitis has agreed to cooperate and provide evidence in Janel Grant's lawsuit against Vince McMahon and WWE. His agreement to a confidential settlement is a pivotal next step toward holding McMahon and WWE accountable and bringing justice to Ms. Grant after years of sexual abuse and trafficking. Mr. Laurinaitis looks forward to moving on with his life. We cannot provide any additional details at this time. Janel Grant's civil lawsuit filed in January 2024 in federal court in Connecticut contained graphic allegations against both McMahon and John Laurinaitis, accusing them of grooming, coercing, and sexually abusing her during her time as a paralegal at WWE. In February 2024, days after Grant's lawsuit was filed, John Laurinaitis' attorney told Vice News Laurinaitis was also a victim of McMahon. Grant's amended lawsuit was approved by the judge earlier this month, which added several details in this complaint, alleging she was sexually assaulted by both McMahon and Laurinaitis. She claims McMahon sex trafficked her throughout her employment with WWE, and that the company itself was negligent in the abuse she says occurred. The defendants are expected to file motions to move the case out of public court and into private arbitration by June 13. Grant will be allowed to request discovery related to the side's litigation over whether the arbitration clause that was part of the $3 million non-disclosure agreement will be enforced. But then, in May 2024, Laurinaitis supported McMahon going back on his earlier turn, saying he corroborated that Grant's claims were unfounded and he would fight her allegations together with McMahon. Janel Grant's complaint claims McMahon forced Grant to perform sex acts, quote, on demand, and to send him nude photographs daily and to engage in non-consensual sexual encounters, some allegedly orchestrated to benefit WWE business negotiations. Grant also alleges she was passed to Laurinaitis and that he engaged in similar abuse. The agreement with Laurinaitis voluntarily dismisses her claims against him, quote, with prejudice. With prejudice essentially meaning that Grant has agreed not to revisit her earlier claims against Laurinaitis. A legal analyst told the New York Post, quote, this is potentially bad news for McMahon. What you want to do in any type of case is cooperate your less culpable defendant against your main target. You want people to testify against your main defendant, whether it's Sean Diddy Combs or in this case, Vince McMahon. However, the former federal prosecutor Nima Rahmani noted that it remains unclear what Laurinaitis knows or is prepared to share. He continued saying, quote, it's really tough to know until a case proceeds to trial or there's some filing that references cooperation in the statement. McMahon has previously denied all allegations, with a spokesperson calling the suit, quote, replete with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and a vindictive distortion of the truth. Jessica Rosenberg, an attorney for McMahon, said, quote, today's dismissal of John Laurinaitis as a defendant doesn't alter the facts of this case in any way. Vince McMahon never mistreated Janel Grant. No matter how many press releases her team issues, the truth remains unchanged. The quote continuing saying, as Mr. Laurinaitis' lawyers previously said, Mr. Laurinaitis corroborates Mr. McMahon in publicly declaring that Ms. Grant's allegations of sexual abuse and coercion in her complaint are completely unfounded. My client will fight these false allegations together with Mr. McMahon in the proper forum, arbitration. Now, Janel Grant previously agreed to a $3 million settlement in exchange for signing a non-disclosure agreement in 2022. But last year, she filed a new lawsuit against McMahon, the WWE, and Laurinaitis, claiming the former stopped making payments after the initial $1 million settlement and requesting to void that agreement. Her allegations include that McMahon and Laurinaitis locked her in a room at the WWE's Stamford, Connecticut headquarters in June of 2021 and took turns sexually assaulting her during the workday. The formerly married McMahon is additionally accused of trafficking Grant to other men, forcing her to perform sex sex acts, quote, on demand and sharing nude photographs. In one alleged text message from 2020, he is accused of sharing a photo of her with others and writing, "She may scream and try to say no, although it would be difficult to say anything with a cock down her throat." Another message allegedly sent by McMahon to Grant a month earlier read, "I'm the only one who owns you and controls who I want to fuck you." The WWE board learned of McMahon's relationship with Grant from an anonymous tip in 2022 and launched an internal investigation which subsequently uncovered $14.6 million in other alleged payments by the executive to various women. Janel Grant's filing alleges that McMahon involved her in a sexual relationship by promising to help advance her career, before ultimately exploiting her and trafficking her to other executives within the company. Now, in case you're wondering, how does Brock Lesnar factor into this sex trafficking lawsuit? Janel Grant amended the complaint in her ongoing lawsuit against McMahon, who she accuses of sex trafficking her. The amended complaint included new disturbing allegations against McMahon and other members of the wrestling company, naming Brock Lesnar as the wrestler he had allegedly enticed into staying under contract by using her as a sexual pawn. In 2021, McMahon was involved in continued discussions with Lesnar over a return to WWE when he offered her to the wrestler and told her to create personalized sexual content for the WWE superstar. According to the suit, McMahon shared explicit photos with Lesnar and told Grant, quote, he likes what he sees. Then allegedly, after Lesnar agreed to his new WWE contract, McMahon is said to have sent Grant a message in August 2021 telling her, quote, that part of the deal was fucking you. The complaint had previously detailed these allegations but had not named Lesnar, instead citing an anonymous fighter. It was the Wall Street Journal who had identified the wrestler in question as Brock Lesnar. One of Vince McMahon's attorneys commented the following: as expected, the proposed amended complaint is nothing more than the latest publicity stunt in an ongoing smear campaign. It is filled with desperate falsehoods from a team that continues to disregard the law and the truth. A few months later, McMahon is said to have given Grant's cell phone number to the WWE star, who asked her to send a video of herself urinating. The suit claims that after she did, he called her a bitch. McMahon is also said to have organized a meet between Lesnar and Grant, with a sexual encounter between the pair ultimately not taking place as the wrestler was escorted back to the plane intoxicated. That same month, the wrestler is also alleged to have expressed his desire to, quote, set a play date for a sexual encounter. McMahon and Lesnar then allegedly organized an encounter in conjunction with Lesnar's appearance at a show in Connecticut, with Lesnar even sending Grant the address of the hotel where he would be staying. However, a snowstorm changed Lesnar's travel plans and Grant ultimately used the weather and COVID-19 as an excuse to back out. Brock Lesnar was one of WWE's biggest names once upon a time and no doubt was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Lesnar has been absent from WWE programming for well over a year, with a rumored return reportedly scrapped after his name was linked to more of this ongoing legal case against McMahon and now him.
It is! It's the Beast! Brock Lesnar! Good God in heaven.
Other new shocking allegations included McMahon allegedly sending a text message to Grant where he fantasizes in graphic detail about watching as a group of men are, quote, surrounding her and leaving her physically wrecked, underscoring how he viewed her as a commodity to offer to others. It's just truly sick, twisted stuff, and there is a special place in hell for everyone that either stood idly by and watched as this happened or had a direct hand in the acts. It's absolutely disgusting. But at least as of right now, that is where we're up to with this lawsuit. I'd be really interested to know what you all think about this case and where you think we're going to go heading forward.